Easy work. I ain't got to worry about it. Like I said before, David Benavidez, he's a young, hungry lion. And Canelo, he a good little fighter. Floyd Mayweather says that David Benavidez is a good test for Canelo Alvarez. We're going to talk about that. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Throw a like on the video. Let me know what you feel about the video in the comment section. Listen, I don't know how you felt my video. Somehow, some way you made it. Please help others find the video by throwing a like on the content. Now, it says can-do attitude. That's a good test. Floyd Mayweather reunites with Canelo's coach, calls for his old rival to face David Benavidez. Now, the pressure is surmounting. Floyd Mayweather, the GOAT, TBE, he says, and you will see it on the screen, we like Canelo, but Gervonta Davis, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, there are so many great fighters out there. David Benavidez, he's a hell of a fighter also, and that's a good test for Canelo. Canelo looked superb the other night. He went out there and he done his job and he done what he's supposed to do as a fighter. We had a clash. We had a chance to clash, two undefeated fighters. We gave the people what they wanted to see. We know how that happened and played out with Floyd Mayweather. Says the WBC announced they have accepted Canelo's request to challenge cruiserweight M'Baku, age 34. It means Benavidez, who's 10 years younger than the cruiserweight M'Baku, Makbuk, right? It says Canelo said, right now I can do whatever I want. I faced all the 168-pound world champions. I took the title from all of them. Now I do what I want. Now, to me, let's just be honest. That's pretty lame from Canelo because he fought mostly like a similar style. Like literally, he did fight champions, but he took the title and fought a lot of domestic level people in doing that. So he kind of lucked out because he came into the division after and said because keep this in mind, this is all fact, no cap. When David Benavidez and Tim Bradley corroborated this, and I've been telling you, but when David Benavidez had the WBC title twice, we never heard about Canelo wanting to be undisputed at 168. In fact, Canelo, baby, you want baby. I know that he had one fight at the 168-pound division, and that was Rocky Fielding. But then as soon as David Benavidez lost his belts on the scale the second time because he missed weight in the pandemic, or right during the pandemic, the first year of the pandemic, then Canelo says he's not going back down to 160 and he's making 168 his home and he wants to become undisputed. So again, Canelo really lucked out because he was able to fight certain styles which fare well with his style, European, Eastern European. He fought, what is it, like 3-4 white fighters, Caucasian fighters. 2 of them were from England. One of them really both of them, Caleb Smith and then Billy Joe Saunders. I could pull this up. I know people, the Canelo fans, they want to get mad, but facts are the facts. We look at Billy Joe Saunders, he didn't fight nobody at 168. Look, his KO percentage is 45%. If you can't hurt Canelo, it's going to be a hard fight. You got to be real surgical. But look, so at 168, this is who Billy Joe Saunders fought, and this is what Canelo's bragging about. Shifat Isufi, and he fought for a vacant title, right? You see, vacant world title in 2019 after failing a drug test and getting the Demetrius Andrade fight canceled. Then after that fight, he fought Marcelo Esteban Corceres, who just gave Edgar Berlanga a pretty tough fight, and he did stop him, but he did not look good in this fight. This was on the Logan Paul KSI 2 undercard, you see? And that was in 2019. Then he had no activity for about a year. You see, November 9th, 2019 to December. So a year and a month out of the ring, and he fought a Martin Murray who was pretty much retired. Like I'm almost positive Martin Murray had said he was retired before 2020. And this is a guy who I thought beat Sergio Martinez way back when, right? So he's not even neither one of these guys are established 168 pounders. And what do we see next? Boom, Saul Canelo Alvarez. So again, what Canelo's saying, it looks good on paper until you do the research. Canelo Alvarez is like, it's like a credit card offer. Or remember, if you're of a certain age, you'll remember when magazines were probably more popular before we like such a digital world. They had the Columbia House, right? They had Columbia House, where when CDs were still a thing, you would go to like, you see these ads and it would be like, you could get 20 albums for 1 cent, you know, and then these crazy deals. And you're like, oh, that's not bad. You know, I like music and I can get these, all these CDs, right? Look, CDs for a penny. Look, these are the ads that we used to see back in the day. See, some of y'all too young to remember this. Look, so back, it says, pick any 8 CDs or 12 cassettes for 1 cent. So that's Canelo. Canelo is the Columbia House of boxing, right? So you look at the headline and it's like, more of today's best music. Any 8 CDs or 12 cassettes for 1 cent, plus a chance to get more music for free. And then you see real small, what does that say? See details. So you could have got John Michael Montgomery, right? And R. Kelly and Mariah Carey and all this music or whatever until you look at the small print. You see, they're not going to blast in bold. You see bold lettering and red and, you know, Nipsey Blue and all this stuff. And you're like, oh, this sounds good. 8 CDs for a penny, you know, 12 hot hits, Michael Jackson. And they're going to express all the best parts until you look at all the details, which is this chicken scratch right here. And then there's probably all types of fees and, you know, because there's nobody at that time. This is before streaming was prevalent. Ain't nobody gonna give you 8 CDs for a damn penny. They would make no profit and they would be 12 CDs for a penny. They would be out of business. So you have to look at the fine print and the small print to see what it is. And that's Canelo Alvarez. He's the Columbia House. You look at the fine print, like, okay, Billy Joe Saunders, he's a champion. And then you look at his championship run and he fought some guy named She Fat, He Thick. And then he fought a guy that didn't even look good in this fight. And then he fought a career 160 pounder, didn't look great in that fight, didn't look good in really any of these fights. And then he fought Canelo. And then he gets beat down. And we're supposed to be like, oh, Canelo beat a world beater at 168. And he really didn't. Look, this guy's sit. Look, who is this, bro? He look like Billy Zane. Man, get him out of here, bro. Who is this dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is Billy Joe Saunders' opponent. And he's supposed to be a top level. He's supposed to be a top level super middle. His best wins, Billy Joe Saunders' best wins were at 160 pounds. That's a fact. You can't name me better wins at 168. I just went through his record. His best wins were like David Lemieux, who Triple G had already beaten. What's his name? Marco Antonio Rubio, right? These guys had already beat him. So, you know, it looked, Canelo, like I said, it's a lot of fine print. He's like, oh, I'm setting history. I'm in all these divisions. Same thing what he's doing in cruiserweight, Columbia House. It's like, oh, he's going up to cruiserweight, but he's not going up to fight a Usyk level cruiserweight, Mirat Gassiev, Dorticos, you know, Evander Holyfield when he was at cruiserweight. He's going up to fight some random African that has 2 losses, both by stoppage. And there's more to that story, and I'll make a separate video for that. But it's not as impressive. And for Canelo to be on his high horse and be like, oh, I unify the titles, I do what I want. I mean, that's apparent. He does what he wants because he's been doing what he wants. But this is how you'll be remembered. You know, people, the Canelo radical fans, they can act like what I'm saying doesn't make any sense, but I know they can't disprove me. So I'll forever be legendary for the words that I'm speaking, because everything I'm saying is true. If I'm lying, then you tell me what Billy Joe Saunders' best win was. You tell me what Caleb Smith's best win was. His best win was George Groves, a guy Badu Jack had already beaten years before. A guy, Carl Froch, had stopped twice and beaten before. It was a bad blood fight too, in front of 90,000 people. And that was Caleb Smith's best win. And Caleb Smith, just like Billy Joe Saunders, who was coming off bad performances with Martin Murray and Corceres, Billy Joe Saunders, he was off the bad performances, just like Caleb Smith, who everybody thought lost to John Ryder, and John Ryder got robbed. And that's why Caleb Smith fought John Ryder in his hometown and got booed by the hometown crowd because people thought it was a robbery. Again, I'm waiting for a Canelo fan that knows more than me when it comes to this boxing that could disprove these things. Caleb Smith, John Ryder, robbery, right? Look, robbery. Eddie Hearn reacts. John robbery, totally robbed. So this is who Canelo is choosing to fight. And now he feels like he could get out of Dodge and not fight the Jermall Charlos of the world and David Benavidez, even though Floyd Mayweather is saying, hey, it's a great fight because he fought the quote unquote champions, which is a technical truth. But look, John Ryder in 2019, a year and a half or a year and 1 month layoff, and then he fought Canelo. And they said he had 4 weeks to train. So there's more than meets the eye when Canelo, and you have to always keep that in mind. That's my time. Let me know how I did in this video. Subscribe to the channel. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.